Yeah.
Okay, now you're recording this session, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't pressed record yet, but do you know, will it save to?
And we're going to go ahead and get started. We'd like to reward promptness. So thank you for everyone for being on time. Good afternoon. Welcome to our very first session of Brightly Thrive's Community Skillshare. This is part of our workplace well-being program initiative. And for those of you who may not know me, I'm Noelle. I'm one half of Brightly Thrive. The other half is Cassie, who may be joining me here in just a bit. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to introduce the concept of these community skill shares. And these are just sessions that are designed for learning and sharing. And they're all about showcasing your talents, your passion, and your hobbies within your teams. And the core idea is that we really all have unique skills and talents and stories that offer some learning opportunities for all of us. So in essence, we all have the potential to really be both teachers and learners in this thing that we call life. So if you're interested in leading a session, please reach out to myself or Cassie. You can find us in the Thrive Together Slack channel. If you want to share a professional skill, a hobby you're passionate about, or an experience that you feel we could all learn from, that is what these community skill shares are all about. I believe we do have our May monthly skills shares scheduled, and that is with Miss Dr. Jack here, who's going to have present on something really exciting. So stay tuned for more details. But we do have June and the months after that open and available. So with that being said, I'm excited to introduce you all to someone who is not just an expert in the field of education, but a true pioneer in the realm of self-care and personal growth. Please join me in welcoming Roy Roundy. Drop some emojis in the chat. Let us know what you're excited about. Let's get Roy pumped up as I share a little bit about Roy's background. For those of you who don't know, for over 2 decades, Roy has dedicated himself to the noble cause of education, and he has been passionately guiding students through the complexities of learning and growth. However, like many of us and many of you all, Roy encountered the all too common burnout. So let me know in the chat if you have also experienced this. I know I have personally as well. And so it was time for Roy to kind of choose to prioritize his own well-being. So he embarked on a transformative hiatus, so to speak. And over 2 transformative years, he dove deep into the healing practices of yoga and breathwork and meditation, and really just the power of community connection. And these practices became his lifeline and led him to rediscover balance and resilience and a renewed sense of purpose. So today, Roy is on a mission to share these wonderful tools with all of us, students, colleagues, anyone really stepping into the path of self-care. So as we prepare for this session, let's open our minds, open our hearts. For those of you watching the replay as well, join us in these lessons and insights that Roy has to share with us. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I give you Roy Roundy.
Yay! Thank you, Noelle. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to set up screen share, see if that can work. Give me a moment. Maybe this. Think that. Think that. And that does that show up as like the full-on screen share? Now, as I'm sharing
Yep,
my screen,
you're
all I
good
can
to
see is
go.
Noelle, so I can't see any chat, nothing like that. We're doing great. Well, let's start off because, you know, one of my ways of sharing my self-care practices is by modeling them and putting myself out there, and just sharing this topic can be a little nerve-wracking, can cause a little bit of stress to rise up. So I'm going to invite all of you, if you have a moment and if you feel safe and comfortable, just to close your eyes and drop into this moment together and take a few deep breaths with me. So go ahead and exhale it all out. And take a deep breath all the way into your belly. Open your mouth, let it go. That feels good. Let's do a couple more of those. Letting all the things that have been going on today go so far. Whatever you got after this, that's going to come when it comes. Deep breath in and just being here in this moment now. Let it out. Thank you for that. And I was invited. Um, First off, thank you, Noel. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Brightly Thrive. Thank you, Primavera and Strong Mind, just for prioritizing our well-being, for making um, the greatest resource that we have, which is the humans who work here, the biggest priority in our company, in our organization. I feel grateful to be a part of this organization, and I feel grateful that there's a group of us who um, are just dedicated to our own well-being, and in doing that, creating a workplace that empowers and that strengthens our own collective well-being. So thank you for that. And thank you for just showing up here today. So I titled this little presentation, The Necessity of Prioritizing Myself and the Case for the Development of Self-Care Practices. And we'll get into that right away. So first off, intention. Why are you here today? What brought you to this little chat we're having? What do you hope to learn and develop in your experience? And what's your intention for joining this conversation about self-care practices? There's a link coming. Um, yeah. Stop that share. We're gonna get back to that because we're learning how Zoom and all that stuff works. Here we are. So take a moment. Take a moment and think about why you're here, what you hope to get out of this time together, and click on the Padlet and join me over in Padlet where you get to write your intentions for this moment. And I love to consider when we share like a lesson plan as teachers. Lesson plans, we always kind of tell the students what they're going to be learning today. What's the learning intentions for them? However, that it's powerful to invite them into the conversation. What is their intention for showing up? You know, we work in an online school where students kind of show up whenever they do. Some of them show up every day, some show up randomly. But asking them why they show up is a good way to connect with them right where they're at. So take a moment, really consider why you're here today, and I'll just share mine. You see mine up there. My intention for joining and facilitating this conversation about self-care practices is really to be a part of a culture where the individuals are learning to take care of themselves so that together we can enjoy the work we do. I want to work somewhere that is a joy to be at, and to have my life be ever present with joy and the best opportunity to experience that. So, see a few of you in there. Is anybody having a hard time getting to the Padlet? Because I think I only see three of you in there.
And Roy, to add your intention, do you just hit that little plus sign in the bottom right corner?
Yes. Yes.
Got it.
Oh yeah. Not all of you are teachers in here. I understand. As teachers, we're pretty familiar with Padlet. Good way to get kids to share their voice. Beautiful. To learn something, it could be small, about wellness that can have a lasting impact for the long term. Could be a mindset, physical activity, anything. Beautiful. Welcome, Tracy. Go ahead and click on the Padlet. We're just talking about intentions, why we're joining today, why we're having this discussion. My initial reason for coming here is out of curiosity. Beautiful. I love that. Always be curious. See what self-care practices I can incorporate into what I'm already doing. Oh, I love this. Collectively experience and share positivity and optimism for the future of wellness and education. Be a lifelong learner and reflect. Do breath work, self-introspection, and learn from colleagues. I want to hear other practices, healthy habits, be in a calm state of mind and not being overwhelmed at times. I want to hear Roy's background story of leaving and returning to teaching. Beautiful. To learn something new and support our gifted community members. Beautiful. Always learning and growing and want to continue to be my highest best version of myself through wellness practices. Yay, beautiful. Well, thank you all for sharing. Feel free to continue sharing if you haven't finished your intention, but this time is for you. That's what I hope you get out of this is a moment where you can just connect to who you are and what you need to be the best version of yourself, just like some of these intentions say. So let's head back to the presentation. See if I can maneuver through Zoom in a good way. Ta-da! Put that chat in there. I figured out how to see the chat. So if you do have questions or want me to stop something, go ahead and do that. We're also going to play with breakout rooms. So we'll see how that goes. Ah, right here. Break out into a small group of three and come out with your best agreed upon definition of self-care. So really take a moment right now. What is self-care? What is self-care to you? We've kind of live in a self-care revolution almost, especially since the pandemic, where it's everywhere in discourse throughout social connections, social media, throughout our workplace now, which is great. I'm grateful for that. However, self-care also can be a justification for almost anything that we do that maybe not be the most caring things for ourselves as well, like getting that second cup of Starbucks coffee or binge watching Netflix or whatever. Not that I'm talking about myself. Oh, maybe I am talking about myself right there, but um, love to hear what collectively we see as self-care. So let's get this going. We have 1, 3, 6, 9, 12 of us. Beautiful. So we'll just do 4 breakout rooms. See if we can make this nice and quick. We'll take 3 minutes in here and just there'll be 3 of you in each breakout room. I'm gonna set a timer. Again, Zoom, new, doing great. All right. All right, go ahead and join. Join the room that you've been placed in. All right. Well, a few of you came back. Everyone left after that, huh? There's like breakout rooms. Oh, I gotta leave. Sorry. Is there something I have to do to get them back? I wonder. Oh, they'll close in 30 seconds, is what it says. Okay, cool. Yeah. Read AI meeting notes. So that takes down the notes of the conversation. Interesting. So we have an AI involved in our conversation. Great.
It's always watching.
It's always watching. Great. Hey, welcome back. I would love to hear from a group or two about what you guys discussed. Um, what is self-care for you? Why? Why self-care? Anybody want to share?
I'll touch on here, just to get things going. One thing that was mentioned in our group, and I think, as we get older, we like to think about our physical health, right? Especially with like me, with my family, diabetes, high blood pressure runs in the family. So I want to make sure that I'm physically healthy. But as we get older, we probably tend to forget we have to take care of our our mind as well. And we get our physical, right? We make sure we do all that. But it's also good to, if you don't have it yet, find a good therapist, right? You need a good therapist because um that's also part of your health as well. And as we get older, we might forget about that. And it's okay to, talk with someone that is a professional, if you because again, your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and you need to take care of that. So yeah, when it comes to self-care, it is important to just make sure you're physically fit, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, fit as well. Because if one of those things are off balance, then it can, I won't say put you in a state of depression, but you'll feel off, you won't feel like yourself, and if you're not where you need to be, you have to figure out what's throwing you off balance, and find a way to fix that.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamal. One other person want to share what your group talked about?
I
I
can.
can chat.
Oh,
Well,
go ahead,
Go
Jack. You go. I was waiting, so I would rather you go. I was waiting and waiting.
so to be fair, Tracy and I were in the same group.
ahead.
She, I think, talked about sitting in a dark room and decompressing. And then I think Jonathan and I were a little bit more like throw yourself into the things you love. So my example was I just bought 2 pigs because I like to surround myself with critters as a way of fostering my own self-care because they inspire empathy and compassion. And
Mm,
if you come at an animal with a weird vibe, they're going to respond weird vibes back to you. So I think it's very helpful for me to kind of just surround myself with things that rely on me and can kind of act like a mirror. And how can you just like, I have baby pigs now, how can you not see them and smile?
that is most definitely self-care. Pigs for sure.
And I
That's
named them Emmy Lou and Graham from Emmy Lou Harris and Graham Parsons, so
oh my goodness.
they're very cute.
We need to see pictures.
I'll send pictures.
Those need to come out for sure. And thank you, Nicole, for posting in the chat, establishing habits that promote mental and physical well-being. So I love all of this. It seems like there's a collective understanding of self-care. Like I said, we're in a kind of a self-care revolution, um, really tied to the pandemic and just kind of where we're at as a society and culture, which I appreciate. So, coming back to present, share. Okay, so who am I? Well, I am a human being on the planet Earth at the same time as you, which is such a gift because you guys are amazing and I appreciate that. And part of who I am is that I've been in the school of life now for 46 years and in the American school system for over 40 years as a student. teacher's aide, teacher, administrator, a public and private tutor, and a learning coach. I'm also a husband to an amazing woman who's literally a rock star. If you haven't listened to their band, go check out Galactic Harmony. And those of you who have listened can definitely agree with me that they're pretty amazing. So go check them out. I'm also a father to three beautiful boys who are 25 years old, 20 years old, and 14 years old. And I taught at my previous school for 18 years, poured my heart and soul into the students, the school, and whatever work needed to be done. However, about 2.5 years ago, I received a phone call where the school, where another administrator from the school let me know that the owners were letting me go, that they could not afford me anymore. And I responded with, "Thank you. You're right. I'm worth a lot more than I'm receiving currently, and it is probably time for me to go." And little did I know that the time for me to go was really time for me to connect to myself and discover, okay, who am I? What do I need? What do I need to do to take care of myself, so that I can show up not just for my students, but my family. I realized I was spending a lot more time with other people's kids than my own kids. And my middle son had a crisis where basically he was not leaving his room for about 2 years, and struggled with severe depression and is coming out of that and growing through that, which is beautiful. And I'm so grateful. So that's who I am. And who I am not is a doctor, a therapist, or a licensed counselor. And if you need that type of support, please make sure, just like Jamal said, go get you a therapist. Get that type of support. Um, but what I am sharing with you has benefited me. I'm not making any promises for what it's going to do for you. You're responsible for your own research and investigation so that you can discover what is best for you. And that's what I'm inviting um, you to, is just seeing some options. Why develop self-care practices? Well, we're stressed. If you're a teacher here at Primavera right now, we're out going across the state, testing, doing state testing, going through all those challenges that each day brings when we're testing. Um, I have bills to pay. I have a new car that I have to pay payments on. I have still three kids and, 4 dogs, and now there's 4 little kittens that were born in my backyard, and just all these things that can just take my mind and put it into spiral worry mode and lock me up from being the best self that I can be. And really, all those things that need to be taken care of for myself, I'm really the only one who can do it. I can ask for support, but nobody's going to do it for me. And no one's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to take care of you unless you're just surrendering your power and saying, system, take care of me. And that's not the life I want to live. And the most important reason for taking care of ourselves is when we do take care of ourselves, we can be our best self. We can show up as who we want to show up in this world and be that gift to the community, to your family, to your work, that you are. So here's just a short list of some various self-care practices that have supported my healing and growth, and then I'll get into a few that I'm actually going to be offering here for us as a community. Growth mindset, community, hiking, yoga, breath work, meditation, connecting with nature, art, expression and writing, gardening, cooking, and sleep and rest. One of my favorites. So growth mindset, what is it? Well, to me, everything starts here. With growth mindset, we recognize that everything is a practice. And this is a beautiful connection for me in yoga and growth mindset, is that I can meet myself right where I'm at in this moment, and where I'm at is perfect. Even if I don't know, even if I don't have it all together, even if I um just am figuring it out as I go. That's part of growth mindset. And by practicing, I grow. And so growth mindset is like the starting point to me for mental health, for mental wellness. Because when we see things as a fixed, like where my results are who I am and define who I am, that's when we just get anxious and get worried about, oh, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say something wrong. I'm going to look stupid and I might, not know how to work Zoom and whatever, those kind of things. But here I am just sharing a new practice of mine, which is sharing my practices. And it's part of my growth mindset. So, little quote from one of my favorite writers on self-care, especially young Pueblo from his book, The Way Forward. You need to do more than eat nourishing food, exercise, and rest to feel your best. You also need to be around good people, spend time healing your emotional history, live in alignment with your values, say no to people pleasing, stay open to growth, and deeply embrace change. And so, with that, community. Community is where healing happens. We are better together. Growth and healing occurs in and through relationships. We can do the work on our own, but we only see the effect of our work when we connect with others. And I just led a power hour um, about the most influential teaching practice, which is collective teacher efficacy. It's the most influential in relationship to student growth, but that's that community piece. We can't do it alone. We can't do this taking care of myself. Nobody's going to do it for me, but I also can't do it alone. I need other people. I need other people to support me and also to be support for others. And we, the teachers and staff at Primavera Strong Mind and Brightly Thrive, are a community that all of us are a part of. And so this space and inviting us together to share our practices is beautiful and a beautiful part of our own healing. So thank you for that. Hiking. Hiking is another one of my favorite practices. I lead the Adventure Club. Join me. Come connect with nature. Connect with the students in real life and see the beauty of Arizona. And I'll share more of those opportunities for you. We're looking to go to Sedona early May with a group of students. I'd love to see any of you here. Dr. Jack, fly out from Virginia. Yoga. Yoga is the practice of connecting breath to movement, and with that, connecting self to the universe. Yoga moves energy, emotions throughout the body with movement. It builds resilience and strength, releases stress and tension, provides that inner and outer harmony. Breathwork, which is actually a part of yoga, but many spiritual practices include it. Why practice breathwork? Well, develop focus, stay centered, cultivate energy, relieve stress, discover and let go of blocks, and we breathe every moment. And something um, I have a private tutoring business, and often my students struggle with focus, of course. And so I bring in breath work as a practice. And I was driving to my student's house as I was preparing to meet with him and thinking, what if he asked me, why do we practice breathing? And my answer to myself, because it was kind of a rhetorical self question, is well, we breathe every moment, and I want to be good at something every moment. And if I practice breathing, I am able to actually be good at whatever it is I'm doing because I'm well practiced in breathing. And then I can take that energy into whatever else I do. So, breath work, important. Probably for me, it's been the most important self care practice that I do. And then meditation, the practice of presence. What it does for us is it gives us opportunity to stay present in this moment. So often we're worried about what just happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future, and we miss out on the gift that this moment brings. Um, Helps us develop an awareness of inner and outer influences and connect with self and cultivate peace. And meditation can be done any place, anywhere, any moment. And one of my favorite places to meditate is while doing the dishes. Um, just different ways of looking at it. And so, finishing this off, the practices that I am going to be sharing with you in community, you're all invited, and feel free to invite your friends or anybody else that you think would be a benefit for. Is a daily 15-minute morning self-care connection. I'm looking at 8:30 a.m. as the start time. If that just doesn't work for most of us, let me know. But we're going to be um, looking at growth mindset, practicing breath work, practicing meditation, doing some desk yoga because we know sitting at a desk all day is not healthy, not a good way to take care of ourselves. So that's going to be a daily thing. I'm also not looking to be the only person doing it, but I'm willing to do it on my own until other people say, "Hey, let me join in this too." So if anybody else wants to share some of these practices or any other practices for 15 minutes, I would absolutely love that. And then a weekly in-person virtual lunchtime yoga. Those are Thursdays from 12:05 to 12:45 in the gym, and also on Zoom for you virtual folks. I'm hoping Dr. Jack gets to still be a partner with me in sharing that practice. We still haven't talked about it, so I can't officially say she's going to be doing that. But anyway, anyhow, we're going to be meeting every Thursday to practice yoga in person on campus, and if you're not on campus, in Zoom. And then finally, monthly adventure club hikes in person at various beautiful places around AZ. It's different ways where we can start to cultivate really healthy workplace space because it's not just like we take care of ourselves afterwards. We live in a culture where we have to take care of ourselves during our work time. And so here we are. I'm only one person. The more of us who join together in caring for themselves and sharing the practice, the more enjoyable our work community will be for all. And I know I kind of went over a little bit. Sometimes that happens because time isn't real, but questions, comments, ideas, any thoughts, anything for me or anybody else in here?
Roy, I have a question about the yoga class. Um,
Yeah.
for those that may be tuning into the replay or who are new to yoga, what would you say to someone who is considering yoga but has never done yoga before? Maybe they're a little anxious about it. Can you offer any tips or guidance around that?
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for that question, Noel. For those who have not ever practiced yoga, if you've been living in your body, then you are right where you need to be in practicing yoga because the practice starts with just feeling your body, and it can be anywhere, anyhow, anyway. Sometimes the yoga practice that someone does is laying down on a mat for 40 minutes. If that's what your body needs that day, that's where we start. It doesn't matter if you're flexible. And remember, growth mindset, it's a practice. We start right here. And if you want to get more flexible, if you want to connect more deeply to your body, yoga is a great practice to start. Just don't worry about what the person next to you looks like on the mat because they may have been doing it for 2 weeks longer than you or 20 years longer, whatever. It's right where you're at. And that's what matters. Thanks for the question, Noel. Any other questions, comments, ideas? Mm, nothing. I really just want to say thank you all for showing up. Thank you for prioritizing your well-being. That's why you showed up. And I look forward to continuing this conversation because it doesn't stop when this Zoom meeting ends. This is just kind of the start, and I'll go back to the beginning of this conversation. Thank you, Primavera Strong Mind and Brightly Thrive, for prioritizing our well-being, for having your most important resource, which is those who are doing the work for you, for prioritizing our well-being. So thank you for that. If there's no other questions, I'll say goodbye.
Thank you, Roy. This was awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate you
Thank
all.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. We'll see you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.